right, what's up, everybody? What's up, Grounds crew? How we doing today? Baseball and coffee, Thursday, April 16th, 10 a.m. I just realized something a minute ago, which is so dumb, like, because your favorite streamer here didn't realize I didn't even think about putting Discord on my iPad here. So now when people fire stuff in the Discord, it can maybe be a little part of the show. So we're learning, but I hope everybody's good. How about those A's on a nice little streak? What's up, Victoria? I'm loving the Grounds crew. It's definitely sticking. I'm feeling good about it. What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's good. Yo, Corey D's. And all right, we got a couple things to watch. Yeah, professional streamer. We're working on it, man. We're working on it. We're working on figuring our game out. We're working on not chewing ice during our streams. We're working about not having sneeze attack during our recordings. We're working on not doing our recordings with our mic off. We got a couple things that we're working on, but it's all good. Plenty of stuff to check in on today. Obviously, there's some baseball. I want to investigate two teams in particular who have been interesting in the early going: Atlanta and Chicago. Cubs, that is. If you haven't seen my Okamoto video and you're a Blue Jays fan, you might want to check that out. It's not bad. It's interesting. I think he's still adjusting. So a lot of stuff up on the channel. Obviously, I've been grinding through these rookie at-bats, and we had a debut the other day. We have some more stuff coming, etc., etc., etc. But we'll do what we always do. We'll hit the standings, and then we'll go from there. A lot of people with a lot of Jordan Romano hate. I will say this: that inning did start with a pop-up dropped in the infield. It would have been 2 outs, nobody on in the ninth. After that, yes. Did he get cracked? Did he get cracked a little bit? Yes, he did. But anyway, just wanted to say that. Ooh, Andre Semena home run off the Miz. All right, we can check that out in a minute. Just poured my third cup of coffee because the thought of waking up as a Met fan requires assistance. I know. The Metros have lost 8 in a row. Stay strong. When they struggle early, that means good times are coming later, right? Isn't that what that means? Hope so. All right, here we go. Rays are in first place, 10-7. They've won 5 in a row. They're half game up on the Yankees, who are 10-8. Last place is the Red Sox, 3.5. That's the AL East. AL Central, Twins in first place, 1 game up on the Guardians. White Sox are in last place, 4.5 back. Nobody's really done for the season yet, but obviously we know some teams that aren't going to compete. But it's interesting this early, when teams haven't really separated themselves anywhere crazy yet. All right, A's are in first place now in the AL West. Finally, something that we kind of semi-predicted off the rip, that the A's were going to be competitive. All right, now they are 8-2 in their last 10, 10-8 overall, first place, 1 up on the Rangers. Houston, who we looked at yesterday, they feel like they might be in a little bit of trouble. We looked at their injury list yesterday. It's insane. NL East, the Braves. That's why I wanted to check in on the Braves today, because they're playing great baseball. They're playing the best baseball in the league, them and the Dodgers. They're 12-7. I feel like some of the moves that AA Alex Anthopoulos made were smart. Bringing back Iglesias, signing Suarez from the Padres to shore up that bullpen. A lot of people having bullpen problems, not the Braves. Anyway, Mets are in last. They're 5 back. As bad as it is, they're only 5 back. 5 back with, well over 100 to play. So I know it's Panic City. Nick's saying he feels like it's getting late. Obviously, Maya's going to ask her usual question here. Will the Mets ever win a game again? Yes. I'd be stunned if they don't win at least one of these games in Chicago. It's not like the Cubs are playing great baseball. They should be able to win this series, quite frankly, but they're going to win at least one in Chicago. They're not going to get swept. If they get swept there, I don't know. Then we're off to a crazy bad start, but I guess we'll see. Definitely sorry for all the Mets fans that are suffering after that last 8 games, I guess, but really those last 3. They've only scored 2 or more runs in one of the last 10 games or something. So it's pretty bleak offensively with Soto out. All right, in the Central, Pirates and Reds tied at the top at 11-7, and then the Cubs, who I just talked about, are 9-9. They're only 2 back, so that's incredibly tight early on. Dodgers 2-game lead on the Padres. They're 14-4, and that's crazy because the Padres have won 7 in a row and are sitting at 12-6. Rockies and Giants pulling up the rear at 6-12. Tough start for the Giants. Giants have aspirations this year. They're 6-12 with a -27 run differential. which might be, that's second worst in the league behind the White Sox. So very, very piss poor start to the season for the Giants. Unfortunately, sorry, Victoria, for that, but that is the facts. All right, so on the thumbnail, obviously I put Ohtani, and there's no pictures yet. That'll all get worked out. But in the description, I put in the title, I put Sal Stewart and Ohtani. So maybe I'll start there with those two guys. Do we watch Ohtani right off the rip? I don't know. I think I'm gonna wait. I think I'm gonna wait. No, maybe not. Maybe we'll just rip through the Ohtani game really quick. Will the Mets score again? Well, they scored last night, but they're not scoring in bunches. The offense looks iffy. I'm not understanding the lineup construction right now. I mean, Beatty hasn't looked good at all. He's batted third. Jared Young's now hurt, but he batted third a few times. Without Soto, it looks like they're really struggling to figure out how they want to construct this ball club, like how they want to line up and play baseball. So it's weird. I'm trying to look at the lineup. Like, how would I do it? So Lindor, 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. Robert, 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. And then Beatty, 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. I mean, in terms of the expected stats, like everything's pointing towards Alvarez needs to be moved up in the lineup. I know you don't want to have too many righties in a row, but that can be a bit overblown at times. So they go switch righty, lefty, righty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty. You know, there's not a whole lot of inspiration coming from the bottom of the order, so I'm not sure how I would mix it up. But I mean, I feel like Alvarez might have been a better move into the 2-hole than Robert there, but I don't know. They're definitely feeling like they're extremely pitchable at the moment with Soto out. I know that 5th is the highest that he's hit in a while, but I'm just trying to figure out how they're going to score some runs, how they're going to get on base. You know, who gets on base on this team, you know, at the moment? It's not Benj. It's not Semien. Tommy Pham just got called up, just got signed, to be honest with you. So they're in a little bit of a weird spot. They need Lindor to get going. They need Bichette to rake. They need Alvy to rake. They need some guys to step up and go on some hot streaks if they're going to score some runs at the moment. And it's just crazy how it changes their lineup without Soto in it. All right, so we'll watch Shohei first. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. Obviously, everybody knows by now he didn't hit in this game. He got DH for it. I don't know if that's happened in years that he's pitched, but he got to settle down and just pitch yesterday. After obviously got smoked in the back the other day by Petey, you know, so maybe they're trying to protect him a little bit. I think I saw a quote about that, and that was kind of the reasoning. Anyway, I firmly believe that Shohei, and I've said this before, Shohei is making a run at the Cy Young this year. I think that's his main goal right now, you know. So we'll watch Shohei first, and then we'll get into Sal Stewart because we have a lot of Mets fans in here. So I'm sorry. I don't really want to make you relive it completely, but we're going to learn a little bit about the Mets. And then I also want to talk a little bit. I want to watch Devin Williams and try to figure out why he didn't pitch for 8 days. I know they lost all those games, but that's too many days to go without work, and then you saw that pop up yesterday. I don't have confidence the offense can score enough to win a game in Chicago. The Cubs' offense is humming. That is true, and we're going to investigate the Cubs a little more. Cubs' offense is humming. I don't think their pitching's great. They should be able to hit the pitching. Imanaga just pitched, so we'll see. Beatty is back. His fall behind 0-2, everybody. You know, he has 0 walks on the season, which is obviously a bit concerning. All right, so here's Shohei threw 51 fastballs, 19 sweepers, 12 curveballs. That's that slow curveball he's been utilizing a lot since spring training. Split, 9 of those, 3 sinkers and a slider. Now, 51 heaters has got to be some sort of, that's like kind of a record for him. 54% heater, I think. The other weird thing, and we've noticed it, he's been continuing to cut and cut and cut his fastball more and more and more. The spin efficiency continues to drop on that fastball. So it's a very, how do I get to his pitching? He's got so much StatCast information. All right. Real quick on the pitching. Active spin on the fastball. He's down to 74% on his 4-seam. Last year, he was 78%. In 23, 76, 76, 81, but prior to his initial getting hurt in 21, 81. So it's just sort of dropped down to a crazy weird spot. 74% spin efficiency makes for a weird fastball shape, and that's what you're seeing out of Shohei when he pitches. So, all right, just keep that in mind as we're about to watch him dice up the Mets for a second. And I say all that while holding my Mets mug today, because I'm dying too. I want these guys to win some games. All right, first up is Francisco here in the first. There's that fastball. 13.5 inches of carry. Like, it's just a speed game with kind of a weird shape, but there's no real eliteness to his fastball anymore. It's more so the mix than anything else. And also, he does operate out of a pretty low squat. He gets really low on that back leg. Look at the depth of the back knee as Shohei comes through. You know, you see this angle here? I mean, that's pretty deep, and that allows him to be a little bit lower as he releases it. So it will play up in the zone with that vertical approach angle stuff, but it's not an elite fastball anymore. It just sort of works. It's kind of funny how Ohtani is a golden retriever while hitting, but seems to get legitimately upset when pitching. Yeah, I think pitching is a different mindset. Sometimes, you know, you got to go to a dark place to shove. All right, so there's a fastball up. It's the same thing with Lindor. We talked about it yesterday versus Yamamoto. Anything in the upper third, if he's not locked in, he's probably going to swing through it or pop it up. And that's what you see here. Takes care of him some fastballs. Oh, also, I got to get my hands on one of these Brooklyn Dodger hats. Those are sick. Obviously, I'm from Brooklyn, so deep down, I have some Dodgers love in me, even though they fled for California. All right, Robert almost kills him with the first pitch. Yeah, Beatty still hasn't drawn a walk this season. I miss Talkman. Sorry, Maya. We'll see you in about 15 minutes. This is the first time he's getting DH for since 2021. Okay, good to know the actual time frame. Wasn't sure about that. Reaching for time. I mean, look, it is a desperate move. I think it was a smart move given where they're at, and maybe they know what the makeup of their clubhouse is to kind of bring, you know, that bulldog in there. But yeah, it's definitely desperate, no doubt about it. I mean, they weren't signing him in spring training. They didn't think they needed him all through that period. Nice play by Pages. And, you know, Pages, if you don't realize, Pages right now would probably be front runner or right there, top 3 National League MVP at the moment. He's swinging it great. He's playing great defense. He's actually doing amazing across the board. I might want to check in on him in a minute too. Loved him being out of the lineup for his start. Hope they do it moving forward. I think they'll pick their spots for it, but obviously it's tough. It's really tough to keep his bat out of the lineup because he's, you know, basically your best hitter too. Four-seam, Beatty comes around that. That's the swing you're going to see with guys who can cover the top because his ball doesn't have any lift on it, 12.6. So in a weird way, you're anticipating more lift, and there's no lift.
Freeman to his right. Ohtani gets over in a 1-2-3 start.
Nice to hear Joe Buck call some baseball last night. I only listened to the broadcast for like a hot second, and then I had it on mute because I was laying in bed. But I don't know, Joe Buck, say what you want about him. He's a good broadcaster, you know, and it looked like he had done his homework. He knew enough about both sides, and obviously I love both Oral and Ron, so that's nice. But again, admittedly, I didn't listen to much of it. All right, so Bo being late again, doing that thing where he hits it over to the right side. Where do they defend Bo with nobody on? This is how teams like to go about it because he sprays everything over here. All right, Freddie is semi-back and way over to try to protect, you know, probably from here to here. And so they'll give him the line, and then here they hope that he can get there unless it's hit hard. All right, because he's hit a bunch of outs to the first baseman recently, and I find that odd a little bit. Is Steve Cohen still traveling the team? Not sure about Chicago, but people were sounding the alarm bells about Steve being there in L.A., and that means nothing to me. He's in L.A. every time, whether you're winning, losing, regardless. He's in L.A. He's got a house out there. They love being in L.A. They'll go out, he'll play some golf before the game. He'll see some business people. He'll come talk shit about the Dodger visiting clubhouse. And then he'll watch, you know, hopefully the Mets win. We've had a lot of success in L.A. minus the playoffs the last few years. I say we as if I'm still on the team. I haven't been there in years, but, you know, obviously this was not the same thing. So he travels with the team sometimes. But he travels on his own plane. He's not on the team flight. He's got his own jet, so don't worry about that. All right, so here's a strikeout of Alvey. I'm a little confused about the sequence. Let's go back to 1-1. He chases. Hold on. Chases the slider here on 1-1. I did hear that early in the game. I was actually listening with that, and he's like, "Oh well." What did he say? He goes, "I know you haven't called a baseball game in a while." So sweeper away. Yes, backdoor sinker would be the play. And that's kind of what happens here. He gets frozen. They actually meant to go in here, but because he sees something on the outer rail, he thinks it's gonna you know, go to the left, but it doesn't. It just sticks right there, and it's strike 3 looking. All right, here is Mr. Benj. Let's see how they approach Benj. Curveball, slow ball. Here comes the 4-seam. Take. That's a pitch he probably could handle. Here's a curveball. I don't like curveball to him at all, but his is super slow, so it might play. And then a splitter. So I love changeup and fastballs up to Benj in the early going here. And they've done well with splitters against him. Oh, wow. Interesting little handsy play by Muncy here. He bobbles it. You see that? But then he recovers it enough to get rid of it and get the speedy Benj. So nice play there by Max.
Little clunker left side. Muncy, tough play, and got it. To end the inning.
Would you say his fastball kind of operates like how Diaz works with the dead zone shape and the upshoot angle with how low he's getting? No, because Edwin has way more run on his ball. Like right now, Shohei's only averaging, where's his fastball? It's only averaging like 3 or 4 horizontal break, whereas like right here in H break, where Edwin is getting like 16, 17, 18. So yeah, it's like low slot, not a lot of vert, but Edwin has much more like ride, carry, run to it. Whereas Shohei's now is sort of like perceived cut with no lift. This is like not what you would teach, but it'll play down in the zone in a kind of weird way, like down and away from righties it'll play. Anyway, it's just unique a little bit because he's cutting the crap out of his fastball. I don't know if this is an intentional decision or just the way his arm is now after the double surgeries or whatever, but interesting. All right, next batter is Semien. This is the 3rd inning. Fastball at Ben. Now, coming into this game, Shohei hadn't allowed a run yet. It was only 2 starts, but I think he was 12 innings, no runs. This is a little bit of a concern to me. Like, the Mets are just doing a lot of auto swinging. Oh, it's 1-0, so I have to swing. I mean, this pitch isn't even close. It's just not seeing the ball very well.
A year ago with Texas, strike 2.
No, not on the team plane. Seeing Bo not slashing doubles into the gap on a regular basis is weird to me. I don't understand what's going on with him right now. He just feels like his swing's a little off. And speaking of swing being off, Semien is all out of whack. He's not recognizing pitches very well. And he strikes out there on the sweeper.
Then go to the curveball, then go to the split.
All right, so here's Melendez. He actually got 2 hits yesterday. He just came up for the injured Jared Young. So maybe Melendez will help get the team going. I know there's not a lot of expectation there, but, you know, any new blood is good blood right now. And there's that first hit. Very good swing on the fastball. Drives it into the other gap for a nice double.
Welcome to the Mets. Where you been all our lives?
107.2. Very nice swing. He's always had a little bit of this Japanese style swing, but also like kind of like a running out of the box type of deal. But right here, he shows that he's got some thump. I mean, he's a big guy.
Outfielder who's on deck. Into the gap in left center field. That ball is going to get.
Do you prefer power pitching like we see now with more injuries or old school marathon pitching? Would marathon even work now with these crazy batters that can boom the ball? I think what we're seeing is the best pitchers have great stuff and they know how to pitch. So you're talking Skeens, Yamamoto, Skubal, you know, McLean, guys like that. So they're combining elements of the old school knowing how to pitch as well as having the incredible stuff. Me personally, I don't love the just have the best stuff in existence but have no idea how to pitch and chuck it down the middle and as hard as you can, max effort, rinse and repeat, churn the players around. Obviously more injuries. Like, I don't love that, but that's sort of just in the pursuit of winning. That's what happens. So he beats Tommy up here with a 4-seam up in. This one had a little more lift to it, 16.3. So it's also been a little inconsistent, but maybe that's a good thing.
Then your voice gets heard.
And Tommy just gets beat by a heater, which doesn't happen too often. So I don't know. To answer your question,
That is hooked down into the corner. Foul.
you know, it's not like people didn't get hurt in the old days. It's just like those guys would get whacked. You can't come out here pumping 88, 89, pitching to contact anymore. That would not work very well, I don't think. Not consistently, at least. All right, so curveball, pulled foul, strike, dirty splitter. It's going to be a long at bat.
In front of that last pitch, and now
Nasty split right there. Split coming here. Dirt ball.
Maybe he's on his
99.3 mile-an-hour heater here because he's trying to get out of this inning. Up away ball. Fastball again. They're going to continue to shoot for that up and away swing through location with Francisco. This one's middle, and like to me, you're not going to get a ton of opportunities in a baseball game to, you know, put a great swing on a pitch off Shohei, especially with 2 strikes. This is an opportunity miss. This is right down the middle. So I know it's 98, but oops. I know it's 98, but I mean, I feel like, you know, that's what it takes to win. You got to take advantage of those spots. All right, split coming here.
2-2.
Dirty, good foul ball. Four seam now.
2-2 again, and
this time he gets to the upper part of the zone a little bit, so I feel like he's getting better as the inning's going.
Like a walk in the park as he misses inside, and they're going to challenge.
Great take.
If it's a
Great take. That's going to be off, and it's going to push us to 3-2. Splitter again. So good at bat here by Francisco. He's got 2 pretty good shots foul. It's been all heaters and splits and, well, curveballs. And then here's a sweeper at the top. Another good pitch to hit, but again, like it's just too high for him.
Another 3-2. Foul back, and he was on.
Fouls it off.
Good at bat. What's the result?
99.6.
Struck him out.
Ooh, and Shohei got him with a little hesitation move, and then he gets the smile out of Mr. Smile. Watch the hesitation move by Shohei. He's trying to figure out what to get by him. He still wants to go high heat, so this is 99.6, but watch the hesitation.
At bat, what's the result? Struck him out.
Kind of a Yamamoto delivery, to be honest with you, and not interested in the smile at all. Oh, he gave him a point. But interesting little variation. Haven't seen much of this out of Shohei, but just changes up the timing a little bit, which obviously as a hitter, he knows that that works. You know, he knows that that's going to mess you up a little bit.
What's the result?
Yeah, Francisco had to double load, and then he gives him a smile. So a great moment. But, you know, Mets not in the Mets' favor, obviously. All right, 4th inning.
At some point during our next home team.
More horizontal movement on curve and sweeper this year. Maybe that caught arm action helps with that. That makes sense. He's supinating better, so he's around the ball better, and it would make more movement to the left. So good point there. Everything's a trade-off, right? You lose some lift on your heater, you gain some sweep on your breaking ball.
That would be a welcome sight.
Yeah, I think it's
So, you know, there's multiple ways to go about this.
Here's a 1-2 to Robert.
Here's a curveball. We've talked a little bit about how he does this too. A lot of his early curveballs are like down to 74, 75. This one's 80. So when he needs to go power curve, he can. So it's not just the amount of actual shapes he has, it's also that he varies them with speed. So, I mean, I really do think like guys like him and McLean that have spent a lot of time in the box, they just have a greater understanding of all the little things that can affect the timing of the hitter. All right, there's 98 painted away. Here comes a sweeper.
1-1 pitch is grounded.
Pulled foul. I mean, he hasn't given Beatty anything to hit yet, really. Curveball, not close, and then they're going to go to the heater.
He's allowed just the 1 hit.
That's a good pitch to hit, but again, like because of the little bit of perceived cut on it, man, Shohei was on one today. He's got like a whole energy going. He takes this ball 100% himself for no reason. But again, with the ball, like with a little bit of perceived cut, it gets in on the bat of Beatty. Oh my God, he didn't even throw the ball around. He was in a zone last night. Freddie's like, do I go to the bag? And Shohei's like, I'm going to do the whole damn thing myself, and I'm not going to throw the ball around. He was in a zone. That's pretty crazy. All right, who's this, Bo? Bo Bitchett. First pitch, curveball down. Second pitch, fastball. So I think he goes to the super slow curveball there, thinking that with Bo's leg hang, he won't be able to hang that long against him. And that'll mess up his timing. So utilizing it there as well. 2-0 sinker, middle, but Bo kind of jams himself and chops it in the ground. That's an opportunity. That's a pitch to hit. You're not going to get too many 2-0 fastballs in good locations. But, you know, again, he switches the fastball shape as well, which is another smart move when he's in a negative count. Like, he's like, you might be able to predict what pitch is coming, but not which version of which pitch. So there's just a lot of subtlety going on that he's taking advantage of. All right, where are we at? 5th inning now. Yep, here's Alvy. Sinker ball 1.
The hitters here in the 5th. 2-0 from Ohtani.
K's that are mounting up at 6.
Trying to unload with
Every Mets swing looks defensive. It's so weird, like trying not to fail instead of trying to succeed. I see a lot of auto swinging, and then I see, I mean, granted, like these guys are pitching them pretty tough, but I'm not seeing a lot of confident hacks. I would agree with that. A lot of tentative swings with 2 strikes. All right, so there's a leadoff walk. Alvy, I've talked about, he's been pretty good. He's been one of the one guy. How would I feel right now? I would feel like we have to get things straightened out inside, make sure everybody's on the same page, and understand there's a lot of season left. And we've played bad baseball, but that doesn't define us. And you gotta dim the noise and all of that. So I wouldn't be like thinking like the sky is falling if I was a player. It's a little different when you're watching from the sideline like I am now. All right, so. Here's a Benj at bat again, right? He went first pitch, slow pitch, and then he goes 4-seam. That's middle, but he's late, and he's been consistently late. That has not improved. And then he takes a pitch that he can handle, which is a down fastball, which tells me he might be guessing a little bit. And then he's going to triple up on the fastball. Yes, and now he hit it. I guess that's a catch. Or it's not a catch, and then they get the force out. That sucks for Benj because he actually... See, again, this is the pitch he can handle. So actually kind of bad pitching by Shohei here in a while in terms of the last 2 locations. And Carson makes him pay here with a little sprayed line drive. But then Alvy can't figure out if... Yeah, he trapped that. So Teoscar throws to second and they get him out. Really tough spot to base run right there. Hard to tell what to do here. Yeah, he wasn't sure what happened. All right, 1 out in the 5th. Here's Semien. Force him away. Take. Could the dead zone fastball make his sweeper appear more lifty? Not really. I don't think that those two would have much of a... I don't think that would inform one or the other. I just think depends on how much lift he has on his sweeper, which at times he can get into the pretty high positives, like +7 or so. Which stays up pretty well. So 2 walks in this inning, Alvarez and Semien, and we got 2 on and 1 out. And here's MJ Melendez, got a hit on a fastball last time. Slow curveball strike. What a beautiful pitch that is to have. And then splitter.
First time and now hooks one into right. Back is Tucker, can't get to it.
I feel like that's a poor effort by Kyle, but that is a ground rule double. So Melendez with 2 doubles off of Shohei. And this scores the first run for the Mets. Pretty good coverage on that as he was already bailing. And Kyle did not get there very quickly. Interesting. All right, so 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Big spot for Tommy Pham. First pitch sweeper gets the chase. Second pitch 100. So you see Shohei knows it's a big spot. Gets the chase again. So chase. And then another 100. Right down the middle, doors. Terrible at bat. Really bad at bat. Just got absolutely owned. Came out too aggressive with the auto swings and put himself in a bad spot. So now Francisco, 100 down, probably a good pitch to swing at. Doesn't swing. And 100 again. So Shohei just goes 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. 500s or something in a row, 400s in a row to get himself out of that inning. He actually misses down quite a bit. You see the target's up. He misses down quite a bit to Benj. He misses down to Shohei. He even misses down to Pham a lot. But he gets away with it here. This isn't a bad swing per se, but they don't get anything for it. I think the Tommy Pham at-bat there was pretty damning. That was a bad at-bat. All right, 6th inning. Lombard, 4-seam up. That looked like it had some more carry. All these are in the 15, so these are a little more, especially for his low slot. They're playing up pretty well right now. And he's also emptying the tank, it looks like, as well. Good take there. And then he's going to strike him out with a fastball. Above the zone. Mets having a hard time laying off above the zone. I've seen like 7 or 8 chases up there already. All right, here's Beatty again. The foolish baseball video about how Skeens is a control pitcher happens to throw 100. Yes, he couldn't be more right, and that's why I was saying, like, the best pitchers in the game now, they combine command and control and feel and, you know, sequencing and tunneling and everything with having incredible stuff on top of it, and that's the ultimate, right? That's the holy grail. Another bad chase here. This is 2-0. I mean, this is 2-1. 2-1 sweeper. You're looking for a pitch to hit here. And I know it's filthy. I know it's gross. 20 inches. I mean, I get it. But it feels like a little bit of an auto swing, auto take right now from a lot of the Mets. Heater down. Split off that makes a lot of sense. Stays alive. He's not locating perfectly, but his stuff's good enough. And then here's 71-mile-an-hour curveball.
Back-to-back strikeouts.
And he points to Will Smith for a good call. So we saw him throw an 80-mile-an-hour curveball before. Now he sees a guy with the leg kick. You see the leg kick? Beatty's coming up high with the kick, even with 2 strikes, right? So at some point, he's got to set that foot down. And then he's got to wait for the ball to get there. And he's just trying to wait, but he can't wait any longer. And it ends up being a pretty feeble swing. Even if he were to hit that, he wouldn't have hit that very hard. So Shohei's using hesitation fastball, hesitation, slow curveball, you know, different speeds. He's doing a lot of interesting stuff here. All right, here's Bo again. 4-seam fouled away. Really good pitch to hit. Doesn't hit it. Sweeper off that. Another good pitch to hit, but a massive hack, and he's out in front of it. I mean, look at the hack on Bo here. And I know this is what he does. I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying, look at that hack. My God. And then 2 strikes, he'll do his spread out. Shohei's going to drop a filthy splitter on him. Probably the best splitter of the day. I mean, this ball ran 17 inches, so this thing came across the entire zone and got underneath the bat. Nasty pitch. And that ended his outing. I mean, what can I say? Great freaking outing by the guy. The fastball did seem to improve as time went on. He bullied some guys. He used the Verlander strategy. You know, he changed the speeds on his pitches, whether it's fastballs or sliders or curveballs or whatever, you name it. He changed the speed on them, which I'm a big fan of. And ultimately, I think that really helped. But the Mets are a mess. I mean, 42% whiff. Not seeing very much plate discipline. I'm not seeing the ability to see the ball, hit the ball. I'm seeing a lot of guys auto-swinging or auto-taking, and I think that's kind of where we're at right now. And then in that big at-bat, the at-bat of the game was the 3-pitch strikeout to Tommy Pham. Chase, swing and miss right down the middle. But you got to give Shohei credit for holding back his best stuff until he needed it as well. And so from that perspective, you know, Shohei's a beast, and that's kind of what it is. Power pitching and stuff is the floor today. That's the only difference. That's true. Like, you have to have stuff to get in the door. But if you learn how to pitch, you can play a long time in this baseball game, in this job. You can be in the job a long time, and if you can implement even more layers to your pitching, you can separate yourself from the others. Don't love Ohtani trying to stay down the mound with his head and lower body staying on the target and fielding position with how hard he throws. The ricochet off his torso makes my elbow hurt. I don't know that he's going to stay healthy. I'm not sure about it. Obviously, he's out here ripping. You know, he's out here ripping pitches on a double Tommy John. And he's going to have a big workload this year. But Shohei throws caution to the wind often. He wants to be the man. LeBron or Shohei, better athlete? Ooh, depends on how you define it. Obviously, the fine motor of hitting, locating pitches would lend yourself to hand-eye coordination being better for Shohei, but LeBron never was really raised doing that. LeBron can certainly jump higher, run faster, lift more weight, I would think, in his prime than Shohei, but Shohei is also strong as shit too, so it's a pretty good comparison. I mean, it's fun to talk about, but who knows? Shohei wants a Cy Young and a Gold Glove, and he definitely could be the best athlete of all time when it's all said and done in terms of doing something that nobody else can do, right? That's amazing. Second base ump never made a signal on that play. Alvy was watching second base ump and had no that sucks. That stinks. From my own understanding, I know Ohtani is unique and gets extra time between batting and pitching to reduce injury risk, but do you believe it gives him an advantage due to impacting flow? We talked about this last time. My whole thing is not that he gets the extra time. That's on the rule book. That's umpire discretion. I'm okay with it. My issue is that they don't seem to give the same grace to other people. Catchers, other people running in. I mean, relief pitchers are treated like dog shit. Like, I would come in the game and they'd be like clapping for me at 50 seconds. Sorry, dog. Didn't mean to scare you. They'd be clapping at like 50 seconds, like, you're done. Like, throw your last pitch. And it's like, they didn't give one crap about keeping us healthy or whatever. So that was my argument, was like, give the same grace to the other people when it's warranted. That was my whole thing. He really is just a bully there sometimes. Command gets iffy and he just says 100. That's exactly what he did there. So pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. All right, what else we got here? Okay, Andres Gimenez home run April 14th off the Miz. Sure, we'll check that out real quick, and then I'm going to dive into some other topics. So 14th, this would be Toronto and Milwaukee. The Miz on the mound, which I noticed because when I did my video of Okamoto, I saw him face the Miz. All right, Andres Gimenez, let's watch the whole at bat. Let's see what we got here. 96-6, fouled away. They don't really give them the same grace, though. I hear you, that's in the rule book, but I've been watching. They're always rushing everybody. That's my whole thing. Just don't rush everybody, that's all. All right, here it comes. 1-2 pitch, fastball, 97. Jeez, in off the plate, like what, like a foot? And he somehow gets the barrel to that? How hard he hit that? 101-3 at 33? Where's this damn pitch? It's almost like a self-defense swing, but amazing how he stays calm and keeps his head down on it. You see that? And just clicks it. Where is this pitch on the ABS? I don't know. What do you think that is? Ball and a half off the plate? That's pretty nasty. That's pretty nasty.
Deal with the Mets. Gimenez went to shortstop.
Kind of just a reaction. I'm not sure how he did that. So thanks for pointing me in the direction of this home run. This is a crazy home run for sure. Man, talk about just like his foot down's early and he just throws the hands but stays connected. Tight rotation. So that was pretty cool. I enjoyed watching that. That was great. All right, we're going to watch Sal Stewart next. I'm a Jays fan, and they always get upset regarding his extra time, so I understand. Missed the other day. Thanks for explaining. Catchers used to get some extra grace on their gear on, too. I'm just saying I've seen it a lot where they're rushing people. Occasionally, the catcher can't be rushed, obviously. But it's just, my whole thing was, if it's good for him, it should be good for everyone. And it seems like he gets way more usage of the extra time and more, understanding from the umpiring crews than the average Joe. And obviously, I'm just standing up for the average Joe here. I'm not saying it's bad that he gets extra time. Of course he should get extra time. I get that. That makes sense. We don't want to get him hurt. Crazy to see that 80 grade four seam ever getting hit. It's funny, though. Mizorowski's velo is pretty far down. I mean, he's sitting 97. Not that that matters. But he was pumping 100 all day last year with zero effort. All right, we're going to get into Mr. Sal Stewart because this kid's very good. He came up last year. I'm curious to learn a little bit more about him and, the start that he's off to this year. 98th percentile ex-WOBA for a 22-year-old. 6'1", 224. He was a 32nd overall pick in the 2022 draft out of A-Rod's high school, Westminster Christian, down in Miami. I know he's mentored by Machado. Pretty good guy. Pretty good baseball player, so that's pretty cool. And last year, he looked great in 58 plate appearances, putting up an 838 OPS. This year, he's off to even better starts. 76 plate appearances with 7 home runs, 323, 434, 726, 1.160 OPS. And really, he's part of the reason why the Reds are in first place. The other thing that I really like about him when I've watched him is his main game is right center. His main game is right center. So he's a perfect guy to have to play in the Great American launching pad. And what's also interesting is just looking at the batted ball profile. I would have thought his bat speed would have been really high based on how I've been watching him hit, but only 33rd percentile in bat speed. What did he have last year? He was right around league average, so 72.1. This year he's at 70.9. Maybe that will improve as time goes on and we'll tap into even more power. But the chase rate is acceptable. The whiff rate is acceptable for a power guy. And overall, he's not striking out much at all. He's striking out and walking at the same rate, 17.1%. He doesn't really have a position, but you know what every team can use is a guy who absolutely bangs in the middle of the order. So first let's watch his doubles, and then I'll watch his homers. He's got a little bit of a Buster Posey swing as well. With some adjustability, he absolutely competes in the box. Seems like he can make adjustments pitch to pitch. There's a double right there. Also definitely has a good personality. Ooh, where's my Sal? There he is. So there's a double. Here's another one. This off of Crochet. Shoots it up the gap on a breaking ball. So he's going to pull breaking balls. He's going to pummel fastballs to right center. And he gets to hit behind Ellie De La Cruz, right? So for me, that's also massively important because they need a guy to hit behind him. All right, here's his 2 ground ball doubles. Here's one off Yuri Perez. Fastball in, goes with it, pulls it right down the line. And then there's one to the opposite field here. Little ground rule bloop double, maybe? Off Whitlock. So I think it's more of like the hit tool with some pop. And an ability to stay very balanced. All right, here's the homer. So there's 1 pull side, and then there's 6 to right center. Here's the pull side bomb off of Yuri Perez. And it's a changeup down in, right on right. Finds a way to manipulate himself and get under that and takes it out. And that's his whole crew from Miami, obviously, that are watching him play. Yuri Perez thinks it's funny. Changeup down in. Great swing. And, you know, he's got a little bit of a leg kick, but not much. So it's fairly simple swing. All right, here's the right centers. It's off Sonny. Man, how did that get out? But that's the advantage of playing in Cincinnati. Gone. Get off me, ball. Is this pitch middle in? It's up in corner. And he's able to kind of not get too pulley on it, not scoop under on it, just kind of block it off, but take it out to right center. Great swing there. All right, next one. This is off Max Meyer. I mean, these are all good pitchers. Damn. Another one, just Barrel City. Great swing there. All right, here's another one. This is off Tyler Mahle. Just drops the head, Oppo. I mean, granted, he's playing in the perfect park. If you played at Yankee Stadium, too, it'd be great. But some ballparks, a lot of these would be doubles. But, man, just a willingness to shoot the ball the other way and with power. Here's Robbie Ray. He's going to get the action. That's above the zone. Smell ya. And I think the boys really enjoy him as well, which is always nice, you know. You don't want to be a shit teammate, right? Is he backspinning these balls? Like, how are they carrying this far? Just wait till it heats up. He might be easy 30 home runs this year. That might be easy. He's already at 7. He's got as many as Judge. And here's the other one off Tyler Mahle. I mean, it's easy stroke, too. Just no nothing in his game. Honestly, I hate to say it. There's a little Miguel Cabrera in this swing. I don't even want to say it out loud. But there is. There's a little bit of Miguel Cabrera in this swing. Okay. Let me take a look at him on my True Media for a second. Sal Stewart and what we're looking at right now versus the righties versus the lefties. This is him versus righty fastballs. So it's crazy because that one he hit that's way up and in off Sonny Gray is kind of an outlier. Up in is the way to pitch him. Obviously, that's a tough place to pitch, so a lot of pitchers are afraid to lot of pitchers are afraid to throw it in there. But there's a little Miggy with him. You can't pitch him away. He's going to drive the ball the other way. He's even hitting up and away fastballs. Even that one that's at the top of the zone, that green, that's a combination of good takes and some pretty hard contact. Looks like breaking ball might be the way, right on right. I'm seeing nothing happening on breaking balls, so expect him to start getting spammed with breaking balls. Here's the changeup. It's been a mixed bag, but not bad, not all blue. And then versus the lefties, he hasn't faced a ton of them. Looks like don't make a breaking ball mistake to him. But this data will grow as time. Let's actually go to 25 as well. Let's add in 25 and see what that changes things. All right, here's 25 added in. So this is the righties on fastball. So unless you're going to paint him in, medium height in, or dot him up away, down and away, he's going to be pretty hard to beat on fastball. Breaking ball, yeah, like you got to get it to down away. If you miss in, he can get you. That's fairly typical. Changeup, it's the same thing we just saw. Lefties, he just hasn't faced a lot of them yet, but he looks like middle in becomes more of his game versus lefties. Okay, next thing to check. The expected home runs by Park on Savant is pretty good. Ayo, what's the coffee today? I just ordered more coffee beans, so right now I'm using pod coffee again. This is like a Dunkin' Donuts in my Mets mug. I might need to make another one in a little bit. This dog, she just keeps seeing her mom who's going out to tan, so she's trying to come to me. Sal Stewart said in an interview that his least favorite pitcher to face is Lewis Varland. Is the elevation that makes it a home run park? No, there's no elevation there. It's just very small. It's small all the way around, and I think the dimensions are actually lying. If that makes sense. I think they're even shorter. All right, let's see what we got on the wow. Sal Stewart on the stuff here. All right, he's got a league average swing path tilt. League average there. Attack angle 11, so slightly up. 7 degrees oppo, which makes sense. And he's catching the ball out front, which also makes sense. So that's good to see. And then let's see him on the bat tracking just to see the length of his swing. 7.4, so fairly long, but not as long as like Okamoto, who I just looked at yesterday, or a lot of the other guys that have big pop. So, good at squaring up the ball, good at going to all fields, pretty simple swing despite the leg kick. It's kind of a small leg kick. Obviously, the fastball is kind of a no-fly zone, so I think you're going to see him get a lot more breaking balls. But he's been awesome, man. Like, he's part of the reason why this Reds team has been so good. Expected statistics, Cincinnati Redlegs. Red Stockings? Here are the batters. He is way up top, and don't think it doesn't help that they have him and Ellie hitting right back to back for the most part, because that means each of those guys has somebody good right next to them, which definitely helps. I don't care what any analyst says. If you're pitching, you're very aware of who's coming up next, et cetera, et cetera. Also, if a guy's on base that can divide your attention, that plays as well. So this team's winning, and they have 2 above-average hitters. Stevenson's right at league average. The rest are below average. And then on their pitching side, I think they've been actually a lot better. That's really why they're good. Yeah, the top 7 are all above average, and several of those are starters, which is not the easiest thing to do on StatCast. Lauder, Abbott, Burns, Burke, Franco, Mall, Santillan, Ashcraft. So the Reds are an interesting team. Them and the Pirates, like, can they do this all year? Can they compete with the Cubs long-term and the Brewers long-term this year? I think that's a fair question to ask, but Sal Stewart is a big part of that. Definitely a big part of that. All right, let me get in the chat here because I missed a bunch of stuff. Barrels compensate for bat speed. 100%, and that's what you're seeing here with Sal. He's really good at putting barrel on ball at the right angle. His swing is grooved. He's balanced at the plate. He's seeing the ball well. He's not sped up. He's got good timing. So yeah, he's not crushing the ball in terms of exit velo, probably because of his bat speed being kind of low right now. But he's making up for it in the other ways, which is a nice trick to do. Rookie of the year for Sal, definitely in the convo. He's going to have to duke it out a little bit with McLean and some others, but definitely Definitely in the combo. Have I watched Andy Pages hit this year? No, but that makes sense. We can watch him. We can watch him too. I'm late. Did you break down Ohtani? Yep, he was first. I think bat speed could undersell his actual swing speed if he hits Oppo late contact point and Savant bat speed is measured at point of contact. That makes sense too. Great point. Dinger Singer. Actually love that point. So it's measured at contact. If he's catching the ball a little late, then maybe he hasn't gotten up to full speed yet. That makes sense. Although it is saying his intercept is out front despite being Oppo. So he's really hitting behind the ball. If you watch him, he does a great job of hitting behind the ball. Sal just knows where his hands are at all times. It's impressive to have that hand-eye coordination, no doubt. He was a good prospect, but not even top 50 before debuting. He's with Ellie for the best on the team already. Pretty impressive. Yeah, you know, some guys are better in the big leagues. Some guys are better in the big leagues, yeah. Does he swing and miss real big at change of speeds? You know, he doesn't have a ton of miss. I mean, he's got a mediocre amount of whiff. It's nothing crazy. 51st percentile. Let's see his whiff rate. I mean, it's really good on breaking balls. Only 19.6% whiff rate on breaking balls, 26 on off speed, which is like changeups, but that's a small sample. And last year he had a bit higher on breaking, 26. But no, I just think he puts bat on ball really well, and he's really well balanced. He is hitting ridiculously good on fastballs right now. He's got a 600 WOBA on fastballs right now. And he's doing all this with the 7 home runs with only 10% pull air percentage. So at some point he's going to pull some more balls in the air and he's going to hit even more home runs. But I'm very high on Sal. Very high on Sal. He's very, very good. Pirates are more sustainable, I fear, until all the pitching gets back. NL Central, all 500 and above, competitive division. Yeah, it's going to be very good. I'm not going to do a whole watching video on Andy, but you know what? Let's dig on an Andy Pages right now a little bit, right? Because he's also, I mentioned, a potential like MVP candidate in the early going. He's been the best hitter, I think, in MLB in the early going in terms of results. So through 71 plate appearances for Andy Pages, 409, 451, 697, 1.148. 27 hits already, 5 home runs, 3 bags. He's also improved himself a lot, and he's playing center now. 75th percentile outs above average in center. He's got a very similar profile to Sal Stewart. Statcast like Sal a little bit more, but it's very similar. An acceptable amount of whiff. He could probably walk a little bit more, and that's why his numbers will probably normalize a little bit. He's getting away with a lot of swings right now, but his bat speed's good. He's squaring up the ball very well, and he's playing really good defense. I've always felt like his swing is a little bit scoopy, and that he's vulnerable to sinkers in. But right now it's working. Let's just go to 26 for Pages because obviously it's still a small sample, but let's see what he's hitting in the early going. Here's him versus righties, actually dominating the inside part of the plate versus fastballs. So I talked about how I jammed the crap out of him on some sinkers before, and I thought that was a good play to him at times. But right now, he's owning the inside corner on fastballs, and he's owning down and away and down in general on breaking balls. So if you watch Pages, he's got a very much of like this back bend in his swing that the shoulders go up, but he does like a lean and scoop move, which does lend itself well to pummeling breaking balls down in the zone. So that bears out a little bit of the results there. He's also hammered a couple of right-on-right changeups, which is crazy. Versus the lefties, he hasn't had as many reps, it seems, but he's got some good reds here as well. Down on fastballs and in on breaking balls. All right, so let's watch his extra base hits on the season so far for Pages. So doing a little investigation on some hot hitters early on. That's what we're doing right now. There's that reach and hook. I mentioned he's great on breaking balls down. We just saw it on the True Media. This swing right here. His bat gets so vertical. Like, look how straight up and down almost the bat is. But he gets these balls up in the air, and he gets under them. So that's why I think the breaking ball's a no-fly zone for him right now, and he's on time for it. So that's a nice double there. Here's another double over here. That's a weird single that looks like it's up against the wall somewhere. Breaking ball again, stays through that. It's funny to see that because I've been studying a lot of hitters right now that are really bad on breaking balls. Like Okamoto's been dreadful on breaking balls, and I just watched him a lot yesterday. Paez, not so much. He's hammering these pitches. All right, here's the homers. He's got 5 of them. This is the one off Peterson. Breaking ball, same thing. Reach and scoop to left. Gone down the line. Nice swing there. Then we got this one right here. Against the Nats, Brad Lord. See, this is a pitch he used to never get to, so this is actually impressive. This ball's up above the zone, and he still clobbers it to left. Pretty hard to cover fastball above the zone and breaking ball at the bottom of the zone, but Paez is on it right now. I know he had an abysmal playoffs last year, but this is off to a very good start. You can tell he came in locked in and ready to prove a point this year. Home run there. Here's another one. This is off of Zach Gallen. Breaking ball. Smashed. Smash, smash, smashed. Wonder how many big chasers are primed to become killers now that the ABS gives them security to not get antsy to protect. It's a good question. I mean, we talked a little bit yesterday about how the walk rate has improved, and I think that boils down to trust in the strike zone now more than anything, because technically the net of the challenges has favored the defensive team, the pitching team. This was a sinker down that he smashes. So doing it on fastball up, sinker down, and breaking ball near the bottom as well. The swing is just grooved. You see it? He just looks like he's teeing off. So that's really nice. Really, really nice right there. Can we look at his fielding at all? See if there's any really good plays here. Smooth sliding catch out here in center. He likes that slide play, huh? I wonder if he's the same hitter against high velocity. It looks like a lot of these hits are against low velo. Yeah, probably not. I don't think that swing will play very well at the top of the zone versus high velo. But, I mean, it doesn't matter. He's taking advantage of what he's getting right now, and we'll just have to watch it as it keeps going. Here's another nice play. Well, not even that nice, but that's somehow graded as a 3-star. But it's cool that he's getting to play center, you know? He was never really considered to be that guy, and he's made himself that guy. So he's off to a great start. He's a huge reason why the Dodgers are, off to their great start offensively, despite the fact that some of their guys aren't playing that great right off the rip. He's actually 3rd in the expected stats. Freddie number 1, 427 xWOBA. Shohei number 2, Paez number 3. Right ahead of Will Smith and Muncy. They only have 8 guys who qualify. And then Teoscar's been mid, Tuck's been below average, and Freeland's been well below average. So that's the Dodgers stuff right there. All right. Interesting how good his defense base running is when he refuses to dive head first. Yeah, likes to slide feet first all the time, right? No matter what. Kiter Montero, he's up to his 3rd start of the year, so it's a pretty small sample. But the 2 fastball approach has been great for him the first 2 starts. Theory. Maybe umpires intentionally inflating walk stats so MLB reduces ABS next year. I don't think they're doing any of that. I mean, I love the tin hat stuff, but I don't think they're doing any of that. I'm not saying the umpires like the ABS, but I do think that there's a lot more to just them being mad and doing something to some people. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to investigate the Cubs. They had a good game yesterday where they beat the tar out of the Phillies. So we can watch some of this game. We can watch Imanaga, who's looked pretty good in the early going. Hit 11 punchies yesterday. He's got a 2.45 through his first 4 starts. And the offense is starting to come back to life. They were really bad at the beginning, and that's why they're in last place, even though they're 500. But this team, to me, offensively, they have everything that they would need to be a top 3 or 4 offensive team in the big leagues. Horner, Bregman, Suzuki, Happ, Bush, Swanson, PCA hiding down there in the 8-hole. So they have plenty of good names, but in terms of actual results, it's only been Nico. He's at 900 OPS. Swanson's about league average. Miguel Amaya, I guess, but the rest of them have been quite disappointing to this point. So we'll investigate them a little bit as the Mets are about to play them. So that'll be interesting. They beat the tar out of Luzardo yesterday. Really, really badly. So let's go to this. Let's hop over to this game. Cubs, Phillies. And these are two teams I really haven't watched much at all on the stream to date. So let's watch how the offense bangs around Luzardo a little bit here. What are the innings that they really get going here? It looks like the 3rd inning. All right, Matt Shaw double. So this was a 1-0 Philly lead at this moment. 3-2, Matt Shaw. Double in the gap on a Luzardo changeup.
Shaw's on the second base, so he's there standing.
And then Nico Horner. Let's watch this whole at bat for Nico as he's getting an RBI hit. And for me, Nico, it's crazy all the guys that have signed before this offseason. I think there's definitely some fear and uncertainty, at least, about what's going to happen with the CBA. So on the offensive side, there's really not a lot of free agents. There's some good pitchers, but offensively, not a lot of free agents. Wow, a little excuse me jammed on the sweeper. It's not even a sweeper. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. 89. But stays through it, finds grass there. That's the first run.
Off the hands, it's going to bloop out to center field. It'll drop in for a base hit. Shaw's around third, he'll score.
Nice play.
The throw over the...
So a double-double. Bregman walk, 9-pitch walk, grinds out a walk. How long was this? All right, so we got to 2-2 here. Let's see what happens here as Bregman grinds this walk. They need to get him going too. Foul ball in, fouled off, 98. Sweeper down in.
2-2.
Easy take there, and then he's going to walk him on this sweeper. So those are sweepers at 89. And he walks them there. So a Bregman walk. So it's a double, single, walk. Strikeout, strikeout. That's the end of that inning. 4th inning, nothing. 5th inning, huge rally. All right, 5th inning, huge rally. It starts with PCA. Sweeper.
Line drive and base hit into right field.
Covers that. His sweeper's not sweeping that much. That's only 8.9. So I don't know about that. And then Matt Shaw with another double. This one's on a sinker. Bottom of the order coming up big for the Cubbies here. On time for that. Looks like Luzardo got himself in some bad counts. So PCA is probably scoring on that, right? He's fast as hell. I guess he got thrown out stealing. Nico, fastball, hammered to left, gone. So Nico gets a bloop hit, and then this time comes up ready to pounce on a fastball and smashes that down in. Very similar to a Pajes swing there, kind of up through the ball at the bottom of the zone. That's gone. Bregman, single coming here. Another deep, long count. Sweeper in the middle, top spin to left. Base hit there. They're getting him going a little bit. Seiya is back off the IL, so he's another big piece that they were missing at the very, very beginning of the year. He slashes that to right. Luzardo just had a tough day.
Nicely by Marsh. He'll get the throw in to keep the runner at first. But Bregman goes to...
Then double play, ground out. And then in the 4th inning, single, 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 double to chase him. Dansby. This is when they really blew it open here in the 6th. 1 out in the 6th. Ground ball through the hole. No play there by Bohm. Changeup coming here to Amaya. Stays through that to center. My goodness, just beats Sosa. Then a first pitch hit to PCA.
Bouncing ball to the right side.
There's some batted ball luck in this inning for sure. And then this is going to chase him.
38 hits this series.
Freaking Matt Shaw with a 3rd double. Line drive to right on the sinker. So Luzardo had a tough go. He didn't really have it going. And Chicago's bats had some nice rallies there. What was the deal with Luzardo yesterday? Was he getting in really bad counts the whole game? 59% first pitch strike. No, I do strikes, 49% zone rate, but guy gave up 10 hard contacts, got only 23 whiffs. Most of it was on the sweeper, so he tried to spam that, but we also saw some hard hits. Sinker got hit hard. 6 hard hit contacts on the sinker. Velocity was actually up, so maybe you just got to give the Cubs a little credit here. On the other side, Imanaga, who we've been talking about a lot, the velocity seems to be important to him. He was right at 90 last year. We gave up a ton of tanks. This game yesterday, 92. So he played a little better. He did get 61% whiff, including 14 swing and misses on the split, which is crazy. 44% on the sweeper, 50% on the sinker. So the Phillies were flailing at off-speed all game in this one. Yeah, 47% chase rate. It's beyond insane. So maybe we'll speed watch that. Shota Imanaga. Trey homers to lead off the game. Luzardo just not missing bats. BAPIP God's either not with him either. Yeah, he didn't deserve to give up as many earnings as he did. He probably could have given up about half of that amount of runs, but that's how it goes. So Trey starts off this game with a home run on a fastball. Where's this, down? Medium height, and then after that he cooks. With Imanaga, it's really always a command thing, up or down, how up or down as he is. All right, strikeout of Schwarber on a split. Nowhere near that. Gonna get Bryce out here with a fastball. There it is. That's that top of the zone. He's got 20 inches of ride. That's why it's so important. This is his thing. He's got some of the most ride in the league. He's not a tall guy, so that ball plays up. But again, if he's throwing 90, guys get to it. At 93, they don't. He has a little more margin for error. That's what you see here. That's even though it's 106.7, it's 49-degree launch angle. So that's an out every day of the week. And here's a hit to Adolis. Yeah, I thought Shaw was gone too, but they've hung with him. I'm not really sure where Shaw's going to end up playing. So we'll see. Here's a strikeout of Edmundo Sosa with the split. This is the pitch he got so much whiff on. Nice pitch there. Second inning, he's going to punch out Real Muto, high heater. Yep, gets the chase. Alec Boehm. Shota looked good. If he can limit the big flies to a solo shot or two, he does well. It's crazy because he never walks you. He's got great fundamentals. It's all about the long ball with Imanaga. And again, I think a lot of that's just the velo and the location at the top of the zone that kind of dictates those results. So he's off to a good start today. He fixed his velocity problem a little bit, and that's bearing early fruit here. Here's a split out front. Otto Kemp.
Not that deep. Armstrong's in. He makes the catch.
Here's a strikeout of Trey on a four-seam. It's got to be up. And it is. Beats him up. Good pitch. And then another strikeout of Schwarber. So he strikes out Schwarber twice with splitters. Splitters in twice. He just doesn't see a lot of left-on-left splitter, I would imagine. You know, no way, Jose. Nasty. All right, fourth inning, Bryce Harper, swinging strike on a sweeper. All right, here's a hit by Adolis. Ooh, that ball's hammered. Just stays in the yard. Gonna get a double on that. Good swing by Adolis. How's Adolis been in the early going? Not so good. They need him to hit. All right, splitter strikeout to Sosa. Splitter's so deadly, especially when he speeds guys up trying to beat his fastball to the top. Splitter here to JT. Slows him down, so it's a half-ass swing. Fly out to center, 93. Fifth inning, sinker here to Boehm. Ricochets off his body to Nico. One out. Three-pitch strikeout of Marsh. Four-seam up. Doors. Splitter strikeout of Otto Kemp. Huge amounts of chase. The Phillies were just free swinging in this game. All right, sixth inning. It's going to start him off with a walk of Trey. So this is top of the order. Long at bat with Schwarber ends in a third strikeout of Schwarber on a fastball away. Dude, look at Imanaga and what he does on the mound. Well, let's watch it from third because we keep getting blocked. But watch this. What is that? What is this pose? That's crazy. All right, so punches him 3 times, gets Bryce twice. This is the second time. This one's going to be a split. Left on left split.
Swing and
Pretty
miss.
crazy pitch.
And he's just matched his career high in strikeouts. That's the
I don't think this was a streak. That was just a cumulative amount. He had the most scoreless appearances since 25. It wasn't a streak though. He didn't give up. Trust me, he didn't go 75 games in a row. No earned runs. That would have easily been a record, by the way. The Japanese player reactions are hilarious. So this is the last out. It's a 4-seam to Adolis. Another jam sandwich.
line drive out to right field.
And the Cubs are back at 500. So I wanted to do a quick look at the Cubs, and then we have some ninth inning comebacks to watch. All right, quick look at the Cubs, just in terms of their expected stats. Where are they at individually and as a group? All right, here's the pitchers. They've got a lot of pitchers throwing the ball well, so that's a great sign. Only 3 guys well below league average in xWOBA. Hobie Milner, Jacob Webb, and Phil Maton. So the bullpen might take them down. Phil's off to a really bad start. I actually like this signing, but my God, he's off to a really bad start. 12.97 expected ERA. And, you know, he's a guy that couldn't afford to lose even half of a tick of anything off of his stuff, or it's going to be bad news. But they have literally 9 guys pitching above average. And then on the batting side, this is why it's been a little bleak. I mean, some of their best hitters, 5 of their best hitters are below league average at the moment. Shaw, Happ, Bregman, Bush, and PCA. So once those guys get closer to about league average in terms of their process, their xWOBA, the sky is the limit. And then they can join Carson Kelly, who's back raking again, Nico, Ballesteros, and Dansby, who's been pretty good so far. So, so that's pretty amazing. So it's just the offense. The offense has to get going. What's PCA doing in the early going, man? He's been scuffle city. Is it still the same thing? It's still the same thing. It's the chase. First percentile chase rate. He should go up there and not swing sometimes, man. Everybody knows you're going to swing at everything. So they're going to get one pitch on you and they're going to throw ball. So that's the biggest thing with PCA. First percentile chase percentage is just, it's not going to work. He hits the ball hard when he hits it, but he's swinging at everything. You can't chase 50% of the pitches out of the zone. That's wild. Nobody can hit like that. That's literally wild. Plus, you're fast as crap, so we need you on base, and your walk percentage can't be 4%. So that's no good. What about Michael Bush? What are we looking at with Michael Bush? Takes are good. Bat speed is in the toilet. Average exit velo is in the toilet. So just not hitting balls hard. This is a guy who had 34 bombs last year. What was his bat speed last year? I think it was kind of slow, if I recall, breaking him down. 67 miles an hour this year. Last year it was almost 70, so he's down 3 miles an hour, which is not insignificant, even though it wasn't high to begin with. But man, everything else has really fallen apart. He's got no barrels in the early going, so hopefully that'll turn around. How about Bregman? This is sort of what you see out of Bregman. Incredible swing decisions all day, really good at squaring it up, but the bat speed is going to be a concern probably for the rest of his career. And so he hasn't turned that into much damage yet. What was the bat speed last year? He's at 70 miles an hour this year. Last year, he's at 71, so dropping a mile an hour so far. He cannot afford to do that. He cannot afford to do that because he's already pretty much dead pull on his home runs, although I do see he has 2 that aren't dead pull this year, but I think that's a little bit of a fluke. And then Ian Happ, it's probably going to be a lot of whiff because this is what Happ does. He walks, but he whiffs a lot. He's more of a 3 true outcomes type of guy. There's some stuff in here that's kind of okay, that's kind of normalized. He's still barreling the ball a lot. Chase isn't horrible. That could be better, though. He's usually better than that, right? Yeah, he's usually really good on chase, so he's even swinging a little bit too much. You wonder if this Cubs offense is just trying to do a little too much in the early going, or if it's the cold, or what it is. But they're a sleeping giant. They just have 5 guys that are good players that haven't figured it out yet. So that's where I'm at on that. PCA's been chasing everything. PCA gets the Javi Baez treatment. That's what I'm saying. Like, you just have to throw him 1 strike. I mean, 50% chase rate out of the zone. That's pretty juicy if I'm on the mound. I don't have to throw you a strike. Say less. You know, let's do it. but he doesn't have contact rate of Bichette, so it's even worse for him. Is the drop in speed evidence of a mechanical issue, injury, or something else? It's different in every case. Mechanical, aging, getting weaker, sequencing in the swing. There's a million different reasons, but at the end of the day, like, bat speed translates to raw power ability, so especially when you're on the fringe of that, you can't afford to lose any more. You know, it's the same thing as like pitching velocity, right? Is it true Bo Bichette has lost his bat speed? I know this is a little bit off the beaten path, but we can find out. Bo Bichette, bat speed 69. Last year it was 69. 24, it was 70. 23, it was 70. So not really. Bat speed's about the same for where Bo's been. He's never been a big bat speed guy. There's no bat speed before that. So it's low, but he's never been a big bat speed guy to begin with. But again, like, you're not going to hit a lot of power if you don't have any bat speed. You got to really barrel. You got to be so accurate, and you got to hit it down the line usually. So it's tough. Bregman's swing seemed Taylor for Fenway. Me too. I thought Fenway and Houston were two perfect places for him to play, tap into that pull power. I know he's got good numbers in Wrigley. I love him as a player all around, but he just hasn't gotten going yet. Maybe the warm weather will help out. Arrighetti's a possibility as we move on. Yes, I want to watch Cease probably next. I have a couple prospects I want to check up on, and we have about 40 minutes left, something like that. CJ Abrams could potentially be a guy. All right. All right, what did I send my buddy in the of the names last night to put on the thumb? Ooh, okay. Before I watch more, we have to check in on the Braves really quick, okay? Braves are in first place. They are the second best team in the league at the moment in terms of run differential. With everything that they've fallen apart with in terms of their injuries early, I thought they were in trouble, but they've come out and played really well. Here's them on the offensive side of the ball. The negative guys are Dubon, Riley, Albies, and Yastrzemski. You expect Riley to turn that around. Not sure about the other three, but Dom Smith has been raking. Baldwin rakes. Acuna's raking. Olsen's raking. Harris is doing good. So that's a good sign on the offensive side. And then more importantly, on the pitching side, even though they're missing a ton of guys, every single guy has thrown the ball well outside of Aaron Bummer to start the season. And the real key for me is the dynamic duo at the back end of this bullpen that is making sure that they win their games. And it's the combo of both Robert Suarez, who they acquired from San Diego, who's been nothing short but great his whole last several years, continues it, 1.17 through his first 8 games. He can go multi-innings. The velo's still there. He's averaging 98.8. This guy comes out and he throws strikes. He's always had a low walk rate, 3.3% walks. So he's a steady Eddie as there is out there. And I thought this was an underrated signing. I know he's a bit older, but given the term and the contract amount, I thought this was a brilliant signing for Anthopoulos and the Braves. This really strengthens their pen. And it's not just him. It's my favorite reliever in the league probably, and it's Raisel Iglesias, who's looked incredible to start the year. I want to watch his inning from last night that I caught on stream. He's just so freaking good. This is the pitcher that I wanted to be. I wanted to be as good as Raisel Iglesias. And at times, maybe we were comparable, but he went to another level at some point in his career, and he blew me right out of the water. But it's the fast pace, it's the multiple arm angles, it's the command, it's the usage of the changeup, all things that are so impressive to me. I mean, he's really gone away from his slider at this point. 1% slider this year. Last year, he was 10% slider. Going back to like 22, he was 26% slider. So really now it's fastball, it's four-seam sinker and changeup from Iglesias. So let's watch him real quick because he's one of my favorites, absolute favorites. Braves, Marlins, and he was on his way to an immaculate inning yesterday because that's what he does. He comes in and just pounds strikes. Agustin Ramirez, here's a sinker.
Good start.
Swing and miss. Change up off that, which has just been a ridiculously good pitch for him. They can't tell the difference between the sinker and the changeup. Now, normally I would say, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't make your changeup and your sinker the same shape. But for him, he sells it so good with his body. I think part of it is the windup. He's got a very fast pace in his delivery, and he sells it. And then Ramirez thinks he's swinging at a fastball, and he's nowhere close to it. Then he goes to the four seam when he needs to elevate, and he does it with a lower arm angle, increasing the VAA. So check out the arm angle on Homeboy right here. This is a straight sidearm sling right here. Upshoot, four seam. dotted. So it's command, it's multiple angles. It's 3 pitches that he knows play off each other brilliantly. I mean, look at the arm angle on the first sinker, which is over the top.
Good start.
Look at that, over the top. And then here's the arm angle on the 4-seam. So over the top, sinker driving down, underneath 4-seam shooting up. There's many reasons why this guy's my favorite guy, but this is part of it. He's just so crafty. So 3-pitch punch there. This is also going to be a 3-pitch punch of my guy Jacob Marcy. Change up. Way out front on that. Change up again. Chases that. And if it ain't broke, my friend, don't fix it. Throw it again. He's nowhere near it, and he's not going to be near it this time either. 3 change-ups. Good morning, good evening, good night. Good afternoon, good night. And then he does actually give up a hit here to Xavier Edwards, who, this is just a good player. He slaps a great at-bat on him here and actually whacks a changeup really hard up the middle at 101. So Xavier Edwards came to play. He didn't give one crap about anything I'm talking about. But Iglesias pumps right back with a 3-pitch punchy of Otto Lopez. First pitch fastball goes 4-seam over the top this time. Dots it down and away, gets the hack. Then he goes to another 4-seam here. Low slot 4-seam. So he went over the top first pitch. Now he goes low slot 4-seam second pitch, drills the bottom of the zone at 94.6, and then he's going to end the game on a perfect changeup off that line. Yep. See you later. And I have always loved his little point to the sky celebration. So these two guys, for me, are a big part of who the Braves are now. If they can get the ball to Suarez and Iglesias, the game's pretty much over. These guys are awesome. They pump strikes. They're some of the most reliable relievers in the game. I mean, he's got a sub-1 whip over the past 3 seasons easily, and he's only got a barely over 1 whip for his career, and that includes starting. So he's one of my favorite pitchers. Reads the swings exceptionally well. Pairs 2 fastballs and a changeup together to great effect. Multiple arm angles, really puts the pressure on you to swing the bat. So huge on Rossio Iglesias, and to me, that's why the Braves are off to this good start despite losing out on Schwellenbach and a couple of the other starters that are really good. You know, when they have the leads, they're holding them, and they've gotten some good performances offensively. You know, having a full Acuna is also important. All right, solo shot. What is interesting that he's all but shelved his slider. I mean, that's crazy. He's not even throwing it. Not even throwing it. You would think he'd want something going the other way. So it's pretty cool. Are the Braves running aggressively with on the bases with our former first base coach? I would imagine, because he's unbelievable. Can we look at base running, run value, running team? How we doing on base running? I would imagine they're good, but they're not in the leaders at all. They're actually second to worst in base running runs. What about runs via stolen bases? They're dead last. So no. So far they've been actually horrible on stolen bases. You would have thought with Antoine over there that would have been improved, but I'm glad we at least checked it. So that's a no. Is Dom just riding a hot streak, or is there a more substantial change behind it? I think it's mostly a hot streak. But I think Dom's a good player. If he can get enough at-bats, I think he's a pretty serviceable everyday guy. Honestly, I've always just thought he needed more chances. All right. What could Devin Williams learn from Iglesias? Well, what could Devin Williams learn from Iglesias? And actually brings me to a concern I have about Devin Williams as well. Why did he not pitch for 7 or 8 days? I never wanted to go 3 and at worst case 4 days without pitching as a leverage guy. You just don't have your feel. And that's what kind of played out yesterday. We could actually watch that in a second, because I don't think he had his feel, and he gave up like 4 or 5 runs. And, you know, you can't abuse your bullpens, but you also can't let your guys, get mold on them, because they're not in the game either. So there needs to be more communication probably about what Devin needs. And maybe Devin said, I don't want to pitch. I don't know. But either way, that's what happens when you don't pitch for 8 days. You come out not sharp. So what's the difference between Iglesias and Devin Williams? They both throw fastballs. They both throw changeups. Well, to be fair, Devin Williams is a better pitcher than Iglesias over his career, right? He's still got a career 2.52. But in the moment, the last 70-ish games or so, Iglesias is crushing him. So what do I think is different? I think, number one, he's too predictable. He's a 2-pitch pitcher. He did throw other pitches in spring training, but then he went and reverted right back to just 4-seam changeup as this game started. I think he could benefit by a third pitch. I don't know if it's a cutter. I don't know if it's a slider. I don't know if it's a sinker. I mean, if it's Iglesias, it would be four-seam sinker changeup. But Iglesias is also doing something with his arm angles and his tempo on the mound that Devin will never do. Devin's more of a slow it down type of tempo, drag the clock down to one type of pitcher. But I just think he gets in trouble because he's a two-pitch guy, and guys can kind of sit on him, regardless of how good the changeup is. The changeup's the best changeup anybody's ever seen, except everybody's seen it now, because he's been around forever. So for me, that's a bit of the issue. Let's watch Devin last night and see exactly what went wrong, or whether it was more bad luck or whatever. But let's see. You just cannot not pitch for 8 days. I think that's the bottom line here. All right, let's watch all his pitches. It's only 19. All right, Teoscar Hernandez, first pitch, changeup strike. It's actually perfect pitch. Changeup again. Ball. Here comes a fastball. They challenge, and that's a strike. So 1-2. Fastball coming here. Didn't realize Devin not throwing his cutter. He threw it a ton in spring training, but has thrown nothing but fastball changeup in the season. And so that led to him not being able to get the put out here. And then a changeup, although this is on Lindor here. This is on Lindor here, not charging this ball. He sits back on this ball, and you know, anytime you see a righty reach for a ball, they're already running a little bit, so their time to first is going to be a little better. But this is on Francisco. He doesn't go get the hop. He knows better than this, but he's been making a lot of weird indecisions. And Teoscar beats him out. So unlucky there for Devin. Should have had one out there. Second batter, Max Muncy. Ball 1 and ball 2. So immediately gets him into a bad count. 2-0. Here comes a changeup. 3-0. And then he's going to walk him. So doesn't pick up his fielder. Goes immediate 4-pitch walk. Now we're at Pages. First pitch fastball strike. Second pitch changeup. And guys are getting a lot better at these takes. Like this is a pitch that could be potentially swung at. That's an easy take. So part of me wonders if they just seen it so much that it's easier to take. All right, here's a changeup. Bottom of the zone. We talked about how Pages has been hitting those. Smacks that over Benj's head for a double. And ultimately, I just think he's a little bit too predictable. Guys can sit on fastball or sit on changeup. They're probably going to get one of them. That's a long single, but that's off the wall. Here's a first pitch changeup, probably pulls it.
Here's one in the air to center.
Rushing. Gone. Grand slam. Where was this pitch? Because that camera angle was horrible. Yeah, just a changeup right down the middle up. I don't know where Devin's going to back up here, but you know, he hasn't been as good with his locations. And again, people are sitting on it and they're used to it. Here's a strikeout. And then they get him out of the game. So he gets one out, but gives up 5 runs in a blink of an eye. Definitely got a little bit screwed by Lindor sitting back on that breaking ball, on that infield hit. But for the most part, yeah, he's just not fooling guys as much. You know, we watched all the barrels he gave up last year, and all of them were like changeups that were pulled to the glove side, which is what we saw 2 of those in that inning. And I just think that there's not a lot of indecision with the batters. They're able to get their ace swing off on him a little bit. I mean, obviously that's a total meatball, but again, in a bubble, when you have a stuff plus of like a gazillion, like Devin Williams has, you're supposed to be able to throw the ball down the middle. But now he's not getting away with mistakes. Now he's got to pitch again. So look, Robert Stock's got him at a 113 stuff plus. The changeup at a 109. That's an elite number. What does Eno have him at even now? I wonder if it's come back a little bit. Eno has him, wow, has his stuff as being below average right now. That's insane. Has his changeup as an 88 all of a sudden. That is a major red flag. So maybe he can't be, maybe he cannot be coming down the middle anymore with his stuff. I mean, at one point he was sporting a 140 grade on this changeup. Now it's at 88. I don't know what gives, what's the difference, but now he's going to have to pitch a little bit. That's concerning. You want your closer to come in and be able to dominate guys. You don't want that to be a scenario where he has to go ahead and pitch really good. That's not his game. He's not really a pitcher. He's really a thrower. He doesn't really know how to pitch that well. He's just got 2 pitches that were basically polar opposites and unhittable for a while. So that's a little bit of a concern. Let's see how he bounces back. Let's see how he continues to roll. But bottom line is he needs to pitch more than every 8 days. All right, what else we got? It's also like, this is so totally true comment here, Jay Farrell. If you're going to like go back into a baseball game, you don't want it to be the Dodgers. You should get some work in before you have to face the best team in the league. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like when he doesn't have fastball command, they can sit changeup, and that makes it hittable. 100%, especially with the ABS now. You're not getting borderline strikes. You have to come over the plate. Kaboom. I thought the same thing about the 2 pitches. Maybe a cutter could help Devin. He just needs a 3rd pitch. I do think he's mentally strong. I don't necessarily agree with this take. It was impressive how he bounced back mentally last year throughout the storm he was in with the Yankees, which I know from experience, that can be really hard to overcome. And I thought he did a good job at that. But I think he has an actual pitching problem right now. And he does need better command with the fastball to make the changeup work, which he didn't have before. But again, let's not forget the Lindor play was tough. And, there's a lot of factors here. When the bullpen guys aren't getting regular work, well, they sometimes throw akin to a sim game to keep the volume up. Not a sim game, but they'll throw sides. But you got to remember, you have a game every night. You don't want to, like, throw so much that you can't pitch that night, so you're only getting a few off the mound. But that's why it's important to me to pitch more often. I don't ever wanted more than 3 or 4 days off. I wonder what the numbers say about Devin Williams with days off. We have splits on that. I just wonder for his career how he is with many days off, because this is probably a factor. This is probably something that they look at. I would hope they look at it at least. All right. Days of rest. Days of rest, game level. All right, he's got a 2.25 with 0 days. He's got a 2 with 1 day, 2.5 with 2 days, 2.6 with 3 days, 3.05 with 4 days, and then 5 days off, he's at a 5.4. And then he's only got 21 games ever with 6 or more days off. But it is 12 walks and 21 innings, which to me indicates that he really struggles with too much rest. Really, go look at the whip. Look at the whip from 5 days or more, 1.35, 1.33. So to me, he absolutely has to pitch at least every 4 days based on these numbers. Still gets plenty of strikeouts, but there's more walk, more whip, which tells me he's not as sharp after he gets away from 4 days. So, I mean, this data is all obviously available. Some guys can do it, some guys cannot. I was not a guy who could do it. To me, that's pretty damning. So I don't like that. You got to pay attention, a little bit. Does the changeup not look as air bendy as it used to? So now we're in a full Devin Williams experiment to look at. All right, 2022 movement. Right now he's averaging 0 and 22, which is insane. Last year he averaged negative 3.5 and 19. So he's getting more drop last year, a little bit less drop this year. Back to 20. Oh, wait. I messed that up. 25, he was getting negative. So yes, much less drop this year compared to the previous 2. Although, it's fairly similar. But yeah, the drop has changed a little bit. This was 2019. What's his arm angle progression been? Right now he's at 21 degrees. He was 21 last year. He needs to get his arm angle up. So his worst 2 years of his career, he's been at 21-degree arm angle. He needs to get himself back into like 24, 25-degree range when he was dominant. So that's the first thing I'd be looking at. Must be a little bit of an arm angle thing that's making the changeup a little easier to see or easier to track. Obviously, we talked about the predictability of it, and then also he just can't sit 8 days. So that's kind of my diagnosis on Devin Williams a little bit. I think Stuff Plus struggles with changeups. Yeah, no doubt about it. We're gonna watch Munoz as well. He did bounce back. He was pitching the 8th inning in the playoffs last year, JDS. He did. He bounced back. He pitched great in the second half last year. So, check the stats, bro. With that pronation, you'd think Devin could find a nasty sinker. You would think so, but then they're going to say, oh, like it's too close to his changeup. I still think he could utilize it. I'd be utilizing it. This is something Mendy did last year with Diaz. Routinely sat Diaz for a week. because you only want to throw him in save opportunities. Well, Edwin was the type that would say, I don't want to pitch in anything but a save situation. Edwin was driving that a lot. I don't know how Devin's been doing that. But me as a pitcher, or if I was a pitching coach or a manager, I'd always be going to the guys. Do you need to get in the game? Do you need to get in the game? Do you need to get in the game? We need to get you in the game. Or do you need a day? Do you need a day? You need to have your pulse on that every single day and understand each of your guys and what they need. Wonder if arm angle is dropping due to shoulder issue. Could be. Could be a physical thing. Could be a physical thing. Yeah, it's a small so far, but again, the data was there. Don't let him pitch that many. Don't let him have that many days off. And, it's not like he was dominant last year. So I think, they tried it in spring training. He threw multiple different pitches in spring training, but that didn't really play out in the game. All right, let's go check in on a couple of the comebacks last night, particularly in San Diego. There was a great one. 5 runs off Munoz in Seattle of the Mariners in the 9th. Jackson Merrill also robbed a home run. He kind of did it all yesterday, so a little Jackson Merrill love for him. 2 for 5. He's up to a 784 OPS. Also played great defense, but this was the inning from hell from Munoz. 2/3 of an inning, 4 hits, 5 earnings, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. I already checked the data. His velo was fine. Checked that earlier. He's actually up on the fastball, 98.6, so I'm kind of curious what happened here. Mariners, Padres. Well, first I want to watch the robbed home run by Jackson Merrill, which is right here. This is a sick play. So this would have made it 4-0 Seattle.
Fly ball out to deep center field. Jackson Merrill on the warning track leaps.
Goes way over the fence for that rob right there. Sucks for Julio. He's trying to get himself some homers, but full extension. I mean, that's legit robbery right there. So great catch by Jackson Merrill. He's one of my favorite young players. Waiting for the real breakout with the bat. If he can get to like a 900 OPS, we got a true super duper star in our hands. But sick play there. All right, fast forward to the 9th. Let's check it out. Starts with a walk. Munoz is going to walk Manny. Let's see if Manny grinded him down for this walk. Yeah, we'll probably watch Cease next.
So not a safe situation.
And then the Rogers thing, and then I'll finish up with the Langoliers bomb. And I might actually be skipping the prospects now, depending on how much time we have. All right, so we did get to 2 strikes here. Staying alive, staying alive. Nope. And ball and dirt. So Manny stays alive, gets himself on base. And then here is Mr. Gavin Sheets, who's been pretty dang clutch lately. Oh, man. Really weird hit here. Now, they come in down 4 in this inning. So even now, if you're pitching, you're fine. Those runs don't matter. Tying run's still on deck. Not even in the box yet. So he strikes out Castellanos for the first out. So now you're 2 outs away. Still feeling good. First pitch sinker to Ty France. Infield chopper. And he muffs it. Damn. So 2 weak hits. A walk and 2 weak hits. And this one, he just straight up muffs this play. I know the mound's in the way, so it's a little tricky, but he doesn't make that play, and everybody's safe. And then we get to a 3-2 with Tatis. It's a sac fly. So really, if you're closing, you still feel good. You've given up 1 run. You do have the tying run at the plate, but a home run is all that beats you at the moment, so you just got to keep collecting outs. This was an 0-2 count, so let's see what happened here. Campusano. First pitch slider, chase. Second pitch slider. Swing through, so down 0-2. 1 strike away from winning the game. Triple slider. Just doesn't locate it. Shoots it into the gap. That's going to get them within 1. Man, he was 1 strike away there. Now a first pitch sinker to Laureano. Jams him, but they're playing no doubles. to stop to. Why are they playing no? Well, I guess to keep him off of second still because it's a 2-run lead. But look how deep Randy's playing. Randy's out here chatting with the fans. He's so deep. Look at that guy. So when this ball's hit, he's got no shot at getting it. Not that I think he would have got it anyway. Let's see where it drops. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But base hit there. Then Munoz is out of the game. So that's it. That's all for Munoz. Ferrer comes in. And then Jackson Merrill with a nice at-bat that leads to a walk-off. First pitch, single away, ball, sinker away, ball. This isn't Daisy. This is Boo. This is my sister-in-law's dog here. Boo Boo. Daisy's at the trainer. All right, 2-0 fouled away. And again, they're 1 strike away from winning it here. He's going to go with that sinker again, and Merrill slashes it down the line. Man, great rally, great comeback. Obviously, it started off with 2 bogus hits, a walk and 2 bogus hits. Randy drops the ball in the outfield. And it's a 5-run bottom of the 9th, down to their final strike twice. And the Padres come back to win, I think, their 6th in a row. So Mariners are going through it a little bit. What is the Mariners' record now? Kind of forgot. They're 8-11. They have a positive run differential, but they're 8-11, so they're not there yet. But that was a nice comeback. That was pretty good to see. Jackson Merrill, pretty good. Hey, if you were GM, would you have fired Mendy? I'm not going to comment on any of that. I'm not, so it doesn't matter what I think. Don Orsillo, best play-by-play guy. He's up there. He's great. He was the man in Boston, too. Let's not forget that. All right, let's go to the Blue Jays and Mr. Dylan Cease, who is somebody that we've been tracking all season long. He pitched again yesterday. I wonder if he utilized all his extra tricks again, because that's been a big difference maker for Dylan in the early going. Oh, forgot to do that. We have to click on the Blue Jays game from yesterday versus the Brewers. I know they get totally BABIP'd in this game. But what does he end up with? 6 innings, 2 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 106 pitches. So a little bit of a grind pitch-wise. He used his other pitches, although he was mostly fastball slider in this game. This is fine. He got huge whiff on it. 45% fastball, 29% slider, 9% changeup, 8% sweeper, 4% knuckle curve, only 4 sinkers. That's wild. He used the sinker a lot the other day, but he drew back on it a little bit in this game. Maybe that's why he wasn't as pitch efficient. I don't know. So Blue Jays and Brewers. Dylan Cease. All right, let's speed watch this. Sal Frelick.
318 earned run average against Milwaukee. Last pitch.
He got BABIP'd a little bit at the beginning, but he wasn't able to finish the deal.
A fastball from Cease.
Four seam up, pop up there. Cease's pitch movement is so crazy to me. Almost all the pitches he is throwing have near identical horizontal movement. Yeah, he's just so over the top, you know? So here's the sweeper, negative 12-3. Oh, wait, my bad. I got to go to the front. So here's a hit from William Contreras on a sinker. Maybe that's why he gave up on it, because he gave up a hit on a sinker. That looked like it hurt the wrist a lot of Sanchez. Did he come out of the game after this? Ow. All right, base hit there.
In this at bat.
Slider here, ground ball to second. They go the short way. Nice play for one out there. All right, in play outs to Gary Sanchez on the slider. Good pitch. Here comes Ernie. He knows who his runner is. Nice play. All right, first pitch out here. Knuckle curve. The whole big thing with Cease is just like, how can he get some quick outs? That's where the changeup and the sinker and the curve come in. We already know he can get whiff when he wants to with the fastball and slider. There's a walk there. Here's a strikeout with a heater. Doors. And here's a strikeout with a heater at 99. So he's come out very good this year. I do think the head thing he's doing is helping a lot. It's also the pitch mix. But he's come out very, very strong this year after signing that big-ass contract. Here's a ground ball on a changeup. And every time he gets an out on a non-fastball or slider, I celebrate it a little bit because, to me, you know, that just shows the growth. Tried a front door sinker there, gets Frelick. Here's an in-play out on a fastball. Four-seamer has always been a little cutty, and then the slider is just straight drop. Knuckle curve, same deal. Wonder if the Jays will split him and Savage up in the rotation. I would. They just have a lot of north-south guys, though. They don't have a ton of east-west. I mean, even Gosman's pretty north-south. There's a fly out on a fastball. This is a walk. Just a bit down. There's a strikeout on the slider. Nasty. In-play outs on the slider. Wonder if he gets hair in his food with that mustache. Ground ball to Jimenez. He's so steady at short. Here's a called strike 3 on a slider. Not sure what Mitchell's looking for there. Here's a hit, Joey Ortiz. His sweeper moves like a traditional curve, and the curve is 12-6. Don't love how those two pitches work off each other. Well, he uses one versus lefties and one versus righties, so doesn't really use them much off of each other, to be fair. But yeah, it's because of his arm angle. He's incapable of making a ball go straight flat to the left like a normal sweeper because he's so high, and that's probably why. All right, here's a swinging strike, fastball Frelick.
1-2,
and beats him down. So Frelick got owned right there. 6th inning, here's William Contreras.
I feel like you could have voiced over all those claymation.
Slider, tapper, right to the catcher. Jays are missing Kirk a lot, huh? Here's his 3rd walk of the game. Ooh, and they should have challenged it. That was in there. That was all over the zone. So should have had 2 walks and an extra strikeout. Here's a strikeout to Gary, fastball.
2-2 the count. Runner goes
right down the middle. And it's a strike him out, throw him out. So that's how his outing ends. Did throw a lot of pitches to get through it, but that's how his outing ends. All right, let's watch the BAPIP disaster here off of Rogers, because this just straight up sucks.
Take the lead. That's gonna be a tough play.
Probably should have fielded that with his glove and stepped him through, but it's a little dinker. First hit, 48 miles an hour. This is such a Brewers offense right here. A dinker here. Here's Frelick. Even crazier dinker that nobody knows what to do with. My God. This is the all-time BAPIP inning, huh?
And there goes Hamilton. Frelick swings right in front of the plate.
Then in-play runs here to Contreras.
Contreras right side.
Jeez. 92-3 squirter on the ground is going to tie the game. This is the only thing you worry about with Rogers is just sometimes the bad luck stuff. He never gets hit very hard. Oh, God. Even that scores the run. I mean, this is a chopper, a little chopper. So the first 4 contacts have all been weak. That's just crazy. And then a ground out, walk, ground out. So that was it. That's what did it to him. That's what won the game. Those 4 dinkers. So sorry, Jays fans. That was tough to swallow. But hey, on the positive side, Cease continues to look great. He's been awesome. Awesome so far through 4 starts, 32 strikeouts in 20.2 innings. And he's really carrying the rotation with a bunch of guys hurt, him and Gosman, obviously. So good sign there for the Blue Jays. All right, let's hop over to the Langoliers home run, because that was an absolute nuke yesterday. I think the furthest one of the season, correct? A's Rangers. That was brutal. That was really, really brutal. Apparently, dirt was wet on Frelick's hit due to some rain getting through the roof. Part of warning track was too puddled up. Yeah, it's horrible. 3 losses from catcher errors since Kirk went down. Yeah, when does Kirk come back? Anybody know? Does anybody know? All right, A's, Rangers. Shea Langoliers. And this is going to be off Cole Winn. Let's watch this whole at bat. And this ball is absolutely nuked. Langoliers equals righty Schwarber. His home runs are majestic. Hey, that's a good comp. I like that. I mean, a little bit of a different swing, but I like it. They both have some Zangief from Street Fighter in them. 2-0 ball down. Here's a swinging strike on a slider. I wonder if it's not just another slider that they missed down the middle with. Oh, it's a sinker. Here it comes.
I did lose in a walk-off.
Oh, perfect. That's going to go maybe over the whole clubhouse. Drops it onto the mid-level top of the clubhouse building. 112.4 at 28. He's been awesome this year in early going. He rakes. I think he's the second best catcher in the league. I've been saying it. When you consider everything. Wham! God, he's so good. Kirk is tentatively expected to rejoin the active roster in May. More vibes than actual comp, yeah. All right, let's watch it from the side. Bam! Jacob Wilson with an immediate, oh, look here in the dugout. Oh. Good for him. A's are rolling. A's are doing it. A's are banging. The boys are banging. The boys are banging. Let's see what we got here. Let's just see in the early going who's actually just team statistics. League batting. Who is leading the league in WOBA right now as a group? The Dodgers, no surprise there. Astros, Braves, Nats, and Twins. And on the bottom end, Sox, Mets, Giants, Royals, Reds. Okay. What about ex-WOBA? Who do they think should be doing better? It's the same group. Dodgers, Astros, Braves, Padres, Yankees, and on the bottom end, White Sox, Giants, Diamondbacks, Kansas City, Colorado. All right, who's hit the most barrels? LA, Atlanta, and the Yankees, and the least, Tampa Bay, Giants, and the Orioles. Who's striking out the least is the Blue Jays, no surprise there, and the most is the Rockies. Who's walking the most? Probably the Yankees. Angels, Mariners, Brewers, the least is the Giants. Wow, 36 walks in 642 plate appearances is insanely bad. All right, on the pitching side, who's doing the best? Dodgers and Braves. Mariners, Yankees, Tigers. Okay, that all makes sense. The worst, Houston, Washington, White Sox, Cardinals, Rockies. What about by expected? The best is Seattle, Atlanta, Philly, New York, Texas. Worst, Washington, St. Louis, Boston, Colorado, Tampa Bay. So I thought that was fun to look at. Is that what Stearns calls run prevention? Not scoring any runs on offense? It's kind of seems like it a little bit. Fuck, Mets are in a tough spot right now. Early on, they need to give everybody some feel good, and they don't have any of that feel good right now. Let me check in the Discord because I feel like stuff's been getting dropped in here like crazy. Richard Lovelady traded. Devin Williams and Luke Weaver off to tough starts now that they're not Yankees. Oh, we already talked about the smile. Richard Lovelady, yep, traded back to the Nationals, who cut him in spring training, which is weird. Let's see this video.
Wow.
Yep.
Do you guys
That's fun to watch.
Wow. Do you guys
Yikes. Ooh, this is a good little nugget. Whoever, thanks for dropping in this year. Batting order rated runs created plus. The 3-hole for the Mets has a 44 weighted runs created plus. That's the worst in the big leagues. So that's not surprising. And they're below average in 1, 2, and 3 spot. What about the Yankees? Yankees are pretty good in the middle. Bad at the bottom. Putrid at the bottom. All right, that's fun to look at. Yeah, fire away. I looked at that, Spectre. Fire away. You're good on that. What do you want to know about Capuano? I saw he got promoted into a spot in the union, but I don't know enough about it. Like, I'm not around anymore. I've always liked Cap. He's always been a good dude, smart guy and everything, but seems like a guy with integrity, which the union could use right now, but I don't know a whole lot about it. This I'm excited about. Garrett Cole, first rehab start tomorrow, so that's 30 days. He'll have 30 days on his rehab assignment, and then he'll have to get reinstated or put back on the IL, so for a fresh IL stint. So 30 days. The Yankees could have Garrett Cole back within 30 days. That's mid-May. That's fantastic. AO Peak Varlin StatCast really quick. All right. We're not doing the prospects today. I'm going to have to push them to another day. Actually, we'll do them. We'll do them. I'll take a little more time. I don't really care. All right. Varland. Lewis Varland. Damn. Looking spicy in the early going. No runs allowed. 9 games. 10 and a third. 15 strikeouts. How soon before he becomes the closer? How soon before he becomes the closer? It's a good question. Will they stick with Hoffman? I do think Varland's more important in the role he's in now, but I do think that could be an evolving situation. What's Hoffman looking like right now? 4.32, but the expecteds are good. So nothing will change right now. I mean, 90th percentile, chase, whiff, and K. That's great. So he's fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. But eventually I do think Varland will be the next in line if he falters. All right, 2 prospects I wanted to look at, so we'll hop over to Synergy, and we'll make this a non-monetizable stream. Oh, hold on, this is funny. Maybe Mets need to go on an ayahuasca retreat like Aaron Rodgers does. You think he should be the closer now? I don't know. He definitely has closer mentality. Everybody loves closing, though. Closing is the best. Rodgers can't close. It needs to be Varland or Hoffman. Or, I mean, Yimmy's always hurt, so who knows about him. All right, multi-game. First guy I wanted to look at was Jacob Lombard, brother of George Lombard Jr. So let's take a quick look at him. Oh, we don't have anything on him since he was 14. This is all we have is a 14-year-old video, so we'll skip him, but let's just see him play at 14 for a second. This is funny. 4 hits from a 14-year-old kid. This is kind of crazy, but this is Jacob Lombard, who's now a huge-time prospect. Oh my God, this is just pointless to even look at. I can't look at it. I can't watch 14-year-olds play on the stream. All right, we're out. Who was the other one I had written down? Oh, Drew Burris from Georgia Tech. Oh, wait, that was a hitter. That was the wrong guy. Reset, timeout. I'm sure you guys are already saying that in the chat. Jacob Lombard, here we go. My bad. Here we go, 2025 All-American team. MLB Showcase, East Coast Braves, PG. I was on every travel team known to man in 2025. I don't have any 2026 video on him. Let's look at extra base hits. So there's only 6 of them. So we'll watch 6 extra base hits out of this guy. This guy's, also a pretty big prospect. We'll see. I saw he's dropping a little bit on the draft board. No longer considered like a top 5 pick anymore. But really good athlete. Arguably further along in his development than his brother, who's become, the Yankees' #1 prospect. So interesting. That was a homer, I guess. I like the swing. I like the stance. That's an extra base hit. Tiger scout team? Oh, that's crushed. Home run. All right, here's another one. Bam. So he's got a nice swing. He looks bigger than the other kids. So that's a good place to start. Do we have any defense on this guy? Because I think the defense might be the exciting part. Do we have any defenses to look at? Let's watch some ground balls. See if we can get any ground balls. Ground ball clips.
55
Oh, this is broadcast. Okay, that's fine.
in the nation. He's now up to 13 after this huge summer. Ooh, that one's
Come
gonna
get it,
be
young
in
man.
play. Wechter can't get to it. Jacob
bare
Lombard's
hand,
on the line.
nice.
Did he get him in time?
my,
With some
Jacob.
absolutely
Very nice play.
fantastic glove work out of the net.
That's what he's going to show right here.
Yeah, this
it's
score bug
really
is
impressive.
massive.
And he's facing what?
Backhand.
Stewart tries to pump
Ooh,
that in,
he's
but it will not
smooth at
happen.
short.
We got
That's
some-
a nice play.
He's facing.
Look at this play.
What?
Oh, Stewart tries to pump that in, but it will
That's
not
a big league
happen. We
play.
got some
That's a big league play for
spectacular
sure.
glove work.
All right, here we have to go broadcast.
Second baseman are left-handed swingers.
That looks like Garrett on the mound.
Northwick to consider. 1-1 pitch.
Oh, come get the chopper.
Infield. This might be trouble.
Oh, that's not even him. That was a stupid play. No, I don't want to add playing clip. I just want to go to the next clip.
Chance to get Fujimori. Well, I don't know if it was by design, but it worked out.
This is going to be an error. So we might make an error here.
Now a ground ball to second to pick up here after
Yeah, first error we've seen on a prospect in a while. Just chews him up a little bit there. Oh, seems confident though. He wants the ball again. That's good. There's a ground out.
for him. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Liner over there to second. Lombard with a spin.
He's really good on those spins, on those little slide and spins. I'm hungry. It's lunchtime. Okay, what are we getting, Brett? Yeah, score bug covers half the diamond. All right, so the wife's hungry, so we'll watch him field a few more grounders, and then we'll do probables. And then we'll save Drew Burris for another time. Glove flip? Nice. So they had him playing second a lot in this. I think Colt Emerson might have played a little short. Here's a ground out. Versus Australia.
Another 3-2. On the ground, right
Come
side.
get it.
Lombard.
I mean, these are easy plays, but he looks very under control, very pro at shortstop. I would say we didn't get a ton of looks at the swing. He's going to be a shortstop, second baseman, third baseman. We didn't get a ton of looks at the swing, but defensively, he looks pro already. Looks big league already, which makes sense. His dad's a big league coach. He's been taking grounders with big leaguers forever, I'm sure. Double play turn. Oh, no, just easy peasy play there. We'll watch one more. I want a tough play. Give me a tough play. No, not a tough play, but looks easy. All right. Jacob Lombard, he'll be an interesting name to watch. We'll see how he moves up the board. Another guy with pedigree or whatever. Brett being hungry and saying something about it means if you don't hurt, she's going to fire up the leaf blower. Yeah, you better watch out. Nah, that's just a bad picture. I saw him. He looks fine. I mean, he's big, but he's not fat or anything. He looks fine. All right, that's it for the stream today. Let's go look at the probables for tonight's games. Great stream today. Over 500 views already. We've had tons of people in the chat, 100 at a time. Really appreciate you guys hanging with me today. Here are today's matchups. Some of these are getaway days, so that's why you see some day games on a Thursday. Foster Griffin, who's been quietly good. We need to check in on him soon, versus Braxton Ashcraft of the Pirates. Giants, Reds, LeBroop, and Chase Burns. So probably be watching some Chase Burns tomorrow, I would imagine. Giants desperate for a win. Royals, Tigers, Bubic, Montero. He's been dominating with his fastballs, four-seam, and sinkers. So we'll see if that continues. Royals desperate for a win. Angels, Yankees, Suter, and Fried. So two lefties, two very different lefties. Yankees looking to win 3 out of 4. And to be honest, they've been quite fortunate to win any of the games in this series, as they were hooked up by some bad defense last night, and then they took advantage of that. And Romero. Jays, Brewers, Corbin, and Sproat. I thought Sproat had already moved to the bullpen, but he's getting the start here. Hopefully he can throw a good one today. Rays, White Sox, Steven Matz, and Jordan Leisure. Rangers, A's, Jack Leiter, Jacob Lopez. Jack Leiter got hit around a little bit, I believe, his last start. Yep, versus the Dodgers. Let's see how he looks today in Sacramento. Orioles, Cleveland, Shane Baz, Parker Messick, who's now demanding my attention. If he pitches well again, we're going to have to watch Parker Messick and find out why he's good. Rockies, Astros, Mejia, Ryan Weiss. Mariners, Padres, Castillo, Walker, Buehler. Okay. And that's it. That's all the games today. A lot of off days around baseball today. So I'll be glued in on Chase Burns. This is probably the best game of the day. Castillo, Buehler. But obviously I'll also be checking in on Parker Messick, Jack Leiter, certainly Max Fried, Brandon Sproat. So there's still plenty to watch. And I will see you guys tomorrow, 10 a.m. on here and on the MLB channel. Appreciate everybody hanging with me. Please hit that like. Tell your friends to subscribe. We're about 800 away from 10,000, which has been a goal for a while. Ooh, I'm sweaty, which has been a goal for a while. And after that, we'll try to climb even higher. But I'll try to get the Murakami video done tonight if I can. He's next on the list, and then Crawford. So we'll see. But anyway, hanging out with me. And thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, have a good one, guys. See you later.